We're going to get right to it today and just start practicing. One of the things that I've been thinking about is just how awesome it is to have a yoga practice. Just deep gratitude for the way we've all cultivated a home practice. I think for years, I think if you've been doing yoga for a very long time, like many of you have, it's difficult to start a home practice. It's not something that's so easy, right? You go to class for a reason. There's accountability, there's camaraderie, there's people kind of share the space with you and keep you accountable. And these are all really good things, but also developing a home practice is a true gift, because ultimately your yoga practice is a very internal, introspective, personal practice. That it's not something that is like a team sport, where you play with others. It's very internal. So I'm hoping that one of the gifts that comes from COVID is when we all, whenever we return to, quote unquote normal, whatever that is going to look like, when we can go to a yoga studio, if there's any left, right? Or if we go to the gym and take a yoga class. What has shifted for you when you have learned how to practice by yourself? So I'm hoping one of the gifts that comes is that even if there's not as much intensity on Zoom, that you have this gift of being able to cultivate it yourself, that you don't require a teacher. You don't need me. You guys don't need me. I mean, I'm here for you for sure, but it's one of those things that I think can be really cool when you start to develop your practice for yourself. And I've noticed, as I've gotten older in particular, and my practice has changed, it's so cool to have such a toolbox where when you are feeling a certain way, whether it's fatigue or anything that's kind of, you need to tweak your practice just for you for that moment in time, you have the tools to do that. And I'm hoping that practicing at home, even with me, is helping you learn that, oh, she's doing that, but that's not for me, so I'm going to do this instead right now. And I can't see all that happening, but I'm really hoping that's what's happening, is that you're learning how to modify and cultivate your own personal practice. So that's my goal. One of my hopes, rather, for our COVID time is that everyone's getting really good at practicing yoga in their house and by themselves. Okay, so let's sit up straight and tall and take a moment to drop in. In what ways has your dropping in become easier because you are alone? Are you learning how to focus your attention and ground yourself by yourself? What does it feel like right now to breathe deeply? How does your body respond to the breath? Is there a way for you to rest and become more easy, more gentle? Allow your shoulders to drop, the spine to lift. Feel ease across your eyes, your jaw. Soften deep inside your skull. Kind of find the deep places and melt. Scan your body and notice where you might be holding tension. See what you can do to bring the breath as a healing balm to those places. Is it necessary for you to hold tension there? Maybe it is. Maybe you're holding something strongly that needs being held, but maybe not. Just see what's there. Come into the deep, deep belly breath. Allow the diaphragm to soften and expand. And we're going to start with a little pranayama. So take your right hand, take your thumb to your right nostril, your ring finger to your left nostril, and we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing. So feel the sternum lift, square up the shoulders, try not to turn to the left because your right arm is up and your left isn't. Bow your head just a bit. Soften the face again. And let's start by inhaling through the left. So just gently close off the right nostril. And then when you're ready to make a transition, close off the left nostril gently and breathe out through the right. And breathe in through the right. Now when you are, so how it goes is you breathe out, breathe in, and then switch sides. Breathe out, breathe in, and then switch sides. When you are sealing off your nostrils, hold on to the very top of your nostril instead of right at the tip of your nose, and be gentle. Try not to push hard into your septum. Keep the body aligned. Soften the face. Notice where the breath is swirling. Notice it where it's not. It's okay to pause and go grab a tissue if you're congested and you need some clearing. And if you are congested and this is just not working for you today, that's fine too. You don't have to hold on to what everybody else is doing. Close your eyes, soften your gaze behind your lids. Slow down the breath so you can feel where it's going. And as you work in this way, start to feel that sense of balance, left and right hemisphere balance. Such a simple way to balance the hemispheres of your brain. Great tool if you are stressed. Great tool if you're having trouble concentrating. And then as you're ready, there's no rush, but end where you began. So breathe out through your left nostril and just keep going until that naturally occurs. Try not to hurry the process. And then when you are done, you can just bring your hands down, your arms down, and just sit for a moment and notice the breath. Pay attention to the beauty of breathing through both nostrils. It's kind of like when you stand on one foot and then you get to put the other foot back down, the gratitude for 2 feet. Let's have gratitude for 2 hemispheres of your brain, 2 sides of your nose. Breath that comes in easily, breath that leaves easily. And then place your palms together at your heart and notice if there's an intention here for your practice. What are you cultivating today? And then release the hands. And let's go ahead and come onto our mat. All right, so lie down as you always do. Okay. Find that sense of stretch and lengthen through your sides. See if a yawn is coming your way or a squeeze is coming your way. Let's enjoy. So just enjoy being in the simplicity of stretching your body. And then bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. Come into the simplicity of rocking. And then circle the knees a few times. Going one direction, going the other direction. Gonna do a little cross hemisphere work today, kind of do some brain balancing. Hopefully that will help you get through the day, whatever is requiring some brain power. And stretch your right knee into your chest, left leg along on the floor, and roll around your ankles. Roll around your toes. Just get into any range of motion that feels really good for you. So if you are having a day where you miss the step, figuratively or literally, time to slow down, right? And focus, time to balance the brain, time to
do some balancing poses perhaps. So left knee into the chest, right leg long on the floor. Feel a sense of difference. What's this side feel like compared to the other side? Wiggle around your ankles, roll around your feet, anything that feels good. So if you get really busy in your day, and I know there's a couple of people in here who have kids online school while they're trying to work, so obviously your day is overwhelming. Okay, so how can you pause, hit the pause button just a couple times through the day and have some of these balancing things, whether it's the breath or just meditating for a moment, standing in Tadasana. Let's circle the knees one more time. And let's circle the knees away from each other and back in. Just get into the hip joints. Sometimes if you just take a moment to stand in Tadasana and feel yielding for a few breaths, it can be enough to slow your roll and get your mind to settle on the task at hand and not be overwhelmed. All right, let's come into happy baby pose. So grab your feet. This is a big pose for this early in class, so feel free to go gently on your spine. You can rock a little bit if it feels good. Feel the compression in your hip joints. All right, and then stretch your arms and legs long on the floor, wide out in front of you. See what kind of space you can get, and then exhale, knees into the chest. Hug it, round it. One more time, opening things up. Spread out your limbs. Exhale, close things up. Find the space. Exhale and joining in. Release your head down. Put your feet on the floor and just drop your knees left, drop your knees right. Just coming into some range of motion for the hips in a slightly different way. Notice what's happening in your sacrum, in your sacroiliac joint, your low back, your hips. Just pay attention. What are you feeling? How's your breath? And then find your way rolling over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so all fours. Start moving your way into some cat-cows, so arching and rounding the spine, taking your time to notice how your vertebrae are feeling today. Can you keep the eyes closed and center the inner eye on the midline of the body? This also can be a very centering thing if need be. How's the breath? And then feel free to swirl around, swivel through your hips, through your shoulders, any kind of movement pattern that feels good to you. All right, and then come back to neutral. Sway your hips all the way off to the right. Look out over your left foot. If anyone was here in class yesterday, I'm curious if anyone's sore in their hips from what we did. So drop your left hip over to the left, or hips over to the left, turn right. And then come back to center. Curl the toes under and lengthen your body into dog pose. All right, so feel free to find your way here. Extend through the spine. Take your time to feel your feet, to feel your calves. Feel free to pedal anything that needs movement. Take it. And just opening up the calves, opening up the hamstrings. Don't forget about your shoulders. So yield your hands into the floor. Rebound through the spine. Feel that sense of support running from your hands through your shoulder joints into the spine. Hug your hands toward the midline so you activate a lot of muscles in your torso to help support your shoulders. Expand your breath. Melt the eyes. Come into the center line in your third eye. Can you feel that centered place in the body? Enjoy your breath. All right, and then walk forward. Come into Uttanasana. Feet hip width apart. Fold in half a little bit. Feel free to wiggle out your shoulders, roll through your hips, anything that feels nice. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine is growing taller and longer. The legs are straight. Exhale and melt back down again. Let's repeat that. Find your breath. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Feel the openness in your feet. Lift the arches all the way up into the inner and outer groin. Spread out the bones of your feet. Find your hamstrings, lengthen them as well. And then push off your feet. round up, rise up, whatever gets you up here, whether you like to come up with a straight back or a rounded back. Open up your chest, lean back a little bit, maybe cactus the arms open, and then exhale and round in. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky, lengthen up, grab onto the right wrist with the left hand, and up and over to the side you go. Feel the extension through the side bodies. Come on up, go the other way. Just enjoy the open space. And then come on up, spread out your wings again. Exhale and round in. Let's take our feet wide, a little wider than the hips or in line with the hips, and just start swinging. So get up onto your toes if you want as you swing. Unlike the poses we did the other day, let the hips move with the twist instead of trying to lock the pelvis in place, and just allow there to be some freedom, some movement in your shoulders, in your rib cage, in your pelvis. Transferring the weight from one leg to the other. And then relax, shrug your shoulders a few times. Just enjoy the openness. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale and float forward. Halfway lift, the spine gets longer. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to a lunge. Blank blocks can be really nice. Put blocks underneath your hands if you want them. Okay, finding the breath. Okay, so if, like me, your ankle is not okay today, you can always put your, there's always ways to modify every single thing you do. So I'm hoping this is also part of what you're searching for in your home practice, is scanning your body. Oh, this feels not so right. How can I best support myself? So if you're always trying to best support yourself, you will find your way. So let's bend your knee and straighten your knee. Don't worry if you don't go all the way straight or all the way bent. I have my knee down just to support my ankle, but you can be on 2 feet. Enjoy the openness of your hip flexors and your hamstrings. And then come to a lunge. Find your breath. Extend through your spine. Reach your crown and tail away from each other. Rise up. Bring your arms to the sky or anywhere you want them to be. So on 2 feet. Hug your inner thighs toward the midline. Feel the integration of your core. Reach upward. Deep breath in, deep breath away. Exhale and release the hands down onto the ground. Let's take a twist here. Hand onto the ground. Inhale, lift the arm to the sky. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Finding the breath. And then exhale and release the hands down to the ground. Walk your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold again. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine grows. Exhale and melt back down. Switch sides. So we're taking our left foot forward and our right foot back now. Feel the extension through your spine. Find your breath. Start to bend and straighten this leg. What does it feel like? How is your body doing today? Where do you need to support yourself? Where are you easily opening? Can you feel the beauty of slowly opening your hamstrings as well as your hip flexors? So as you go back and forth, does it feel good? Are you enjoying your practice? Try to let go of the expectation that everything has to be a certain way, and instead just revel in how you feel. Let's come into a lunge, extend the spine. When you're ready, rise up, find your breath. Take your arms wherever you want them to be. They can come high, they can come low, anywhere in between. Feel the integration in the center body. Try not to push the ribs forward. Draw them in. Feel the hug to the midline with your legs. Finding the breath in, finding the breath out. The shoulders are softening. Start to invigorate the strength of your muscles. You can push your feet into the floor. Feel your glutes. And then exhale and release the hand down onto the ground or block. And let's twist here. Keep lifting your back thigh. Drop your shoulders away from the ears and open the chest. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. And then exhale and release your hands. Come back to a plank. Hold steady here.
Find the support, yield your hands, and push off the floor. Deep breath in, deep breath away. Stabilize through the core of you. And then let's put our knees down if you need to, and slowly lower yourself to the ground. Inhale, cobra pose, open the chest, exhale, and come back down. Let's try that one more time. Keep the back of the neck long, support with your legs and your pelvis and your core. Exhale to the floor. Take your arms either out in front of you or behind you or next to you, whichever is best for your shoulders. We're going to do a little cross hemisphere work here. So find your breath. We're going to lift the right arm and the left leg up in the air. Find your breath. Doesn't matter if your arm's overhead or behind. Feel that cross line through the back body. You can lift your head up or have your head on the floor. Find the breath. See if you can stretch your other arm as well, even if it's not doing the same action. And then release and relax. Switch sides. So if you are using an arm overhead, feel the difference of taking your other arm down at your side. Lengthen them away from each other. Lift the leg and the arm simultaneously. Finding the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Stable through your core. Try not to let your low back crunch up. All right, and then exhale and release that back down. Come up onto all fours. Find your breath. Move around any way you want to move. Deep breaths in and away. Find your way to dog pose. Lengthen through your spine. Feel your breath. Extend and open up, heart toward the pelvis. We're going to do some cross hemisphere work here. So let's lift the left leg up in the air. Find your breath. See what this feels like. Maybe you can just lift that right hand up off the floor. And don't worry if you're like, whoa, and falling all over the place. It's all good. Just see what it feels like to unweight the left hand. And then put that hand back down. Rearrange yourselves. Push off your hands. Lengthen the heart up toward the heel. And then place that foot down onto the ground. Let's do a second side. So I'm going to do bird dog just because I can't be on that foot. So lift that leg all the way in the air. Find your breath. Square hips. And then just see what it feels like to hover your hand. And it might even be that you don't take the hand off the floor, you just unweight it a little bit. So just be where you are. Have fun with this. This is hard. So you're going to flail about. So think that's fun instead of, a failure. Okay. Place the hand back down. Reach into that leg. Extend. Find your breath. And then come down with your knees onto the floor. So have some gratitude for 4 points of contact. Everything's a little easier when we're closer to the ground. Stretch the left leg back behind you, the right arm out in front of you for a classic bird dog pose. I can't say enough good things about this posture. It really is a good thing for us to do on a regular basis. Okay, so find the breath. And then as you exhale, hug in, elbow and knee coming in toward each other. Inhale, stretch and lengthen that out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, bring it out. Now let's hang out here for a moment. What does it feel like to try to stabilize through your core, lengthen through your crown? Feel the oppositional sides working. Let's take one more time, tucking underneath us. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, bring it out. Place that hand and knee down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Okay, so our right leg is back behind us. Left arm is out in front of us. Stabilize first before we move. Find the sense of where your core is at. Feel the yielding with your hand and your knee. Try not to lock your shoulder or your elbow. Extend your arm and leg in the air. Find your breath, and as you exhale, tuck in. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, tuck it in. Let's hang out there for a moment. Bring it out, lengthen, extend your crown and tail. Feel the work cross the hemispheres of the body. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, bring it out. Place that hand and knee down onto the ground, curl your toes under, and lift up to dog pose. Lengthen through your spine, feel symmetry. Hug toward the midline, finding your breath. Walk your feet forward when you're ready. Come into Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and release, back down. Climb up, stand up, arms to the sky. If you want your arms to the sky, feel the length through your body. Finding the breath, relax your hands down. Let's come back into that twisting action that we did earlier. Just feeling yourself turn from one direction to the other. Let the eyes turn, weight into one heel or one foot, and then weight into the other foot. All right, and then come back, ground yourself, feel the yielding. Come into that Tadasana where you can feel like the diaphragm drops all the way to the floor. It drops to the pelvic floor, it drops to the knees, it drops to the arches of the feet. Okay, we're going to stand on our right foot. Bring your left leg up in the air. Hug your knee close into your chest and use that support of hugging your leg to help you lift your spine. Soften the knee that you're standing on. Be very mindful to not slam that knee back. Feel the crown lift. Find your breath and then unwind the hands. Just take your knee out in front of you, your knees bent like a stork. Bring your arms wide. Find the breath. Find the sense that you can be long and spacious at the same time as stable. Okay? You can root your foot into the ground. Soften the knee. The hip is hugging in and back. And then go ahead and place that foot down onto the ground. Let's change sides. Bear all your weight into your left foot. Bring your right knee up into your chest. When you do this, feel the length of your spine grow, grow, grow. Give yourself a good hug with that knee so it can come up higher than your hip. Find your breath here. All right, and then drop the knee so it's about in line with the hip. Feel the hugging of your opposite hip, so your left hip is going to hug in. Keep that femur bone moving back, soften the knee joint, feel the spine grow. Okay, arms are out to the sides. All right, let's go ahead and release that foot down onto the ground. Arms all the way up, take a deep breath in, exhale and fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to dog pose. Long spine here. Find your breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhale, lift the right leg up in the air. And then exhale and bring that foot forward into a lunge. Find your breath. We're going to plant the back heel all the way down. So Virabhadrasana 1. My foot's turned way out just for my ankle, but you can try to start squaring the hips to the best of your ability. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, extend through the spine, finding your breath. Maybe look up, maybe lean back, see what's working. Maybe your hands interlace, maybe your arms are down at your sides. All right, and then we're gonna lean forward. Reach the arms out in front of you just for a moment. We're not going to stay here. Feel how much work this requires in your back. And then bring your arms back behind you and feel a slight more ease. Integrate into your core. Find the breath and hop up onto your foot. Virabhadrasana 3, warrior pose 3. Extend through your spine. This is a biggie. Okay, so just notice, feel your glutes working. We're not going to stay too long, but we are going to come back to this pose in a little while. Go ahead and step all the way back. Virabhadrasana 1, one more time, reaching the arms to the sky. Exhale and place the hands down onto the ground and step back to dog pose. Deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's lift the left leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through to a lunge. Plant your back heel down. Come up into Virabhadrasana 1. So the back heel's on the floor. It's a little different than crescent lunge. Bend into your front knee to whatever place is best for you. Try not to arch the back. See if you can integrate, and for some, that might mean leaning forward a little bit. Bring your arms up if you're able. Find your breath. Stay rooted in the back foot. The outside edge of that foot is rooting into the floor. Hug your back heel toward the midline, so that will help you turn the hip a little bit more. Finding the breath in, finding the breath out. Okay, and then lean forward. Experiment. Arms out in front of you. See what that feels like, how much work that is. And then when you're ready, remove that and take the arms back. Lift the heads of the arm bones away from the floor. The shoulder blades have an activity toward each other, but integrate the ribs to support that shoulder blade movement. Hop up when you're ready onto your one foot. Okay, so I'm going to pause doing this one. Come into Virabhadrasana 3. Arms are back. Reach the crown and tail. Doesn't matter how deep into the pose you go. Feel your standing leg. Root into the knee. See if you can send it all the way down to your foot. So we're not locking the knee out. Feel your breath. Square the hips and shoulders as best as you can. And then a big giant step back. Coming into Virabhadrasana 1. One more time. Reaching the arms to the sky. Finding the breath. And then exhale. Hands down onto the ground and step back. Come into a plank. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Let's lower ourselves to the floor. Come on down. Inhale, open up into Cobra Pose. Exhale, and come back down. Take your arms either out in front of you or down at your sides, whichever feels better for your shoulders. And we're going to do some alternate movement patterns, but a little faster. So right arm and left leg, lift. And then drop down and switch sides. And you can move quickly like this, or you can move more slowly. So this should happen if you're moving quickly and not thinking. You should easily go left, right, left, right, left, right into cross hemisphere work. And if that is not a natural pattern for you, slow it down so that you can feel that you're moving the opposite limbs, arm and leg are in opposition. And then down, and then in opposition. And take yourself slow enough where you can feel that that's a pattern that you're integrating into the body. Make sure you're breathing, engage through your core. And then go ahead and rest. Come up onto all fours. Have some movement in your spine if you need some movement in your spine. And then come back to rest in child's pose when you're ready. Enjoy the breath. Deepening the inhale. Let it cascade down your spine. Let's come up onto all fours. Inhale and lift the left arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder through, coming into a twist here. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the shoulder blades spread apart from each other. The neck is soft. Try not to let the hips shift off to the side. Keep them over the knees. Inhale, reach that arm all the way to the sky and place the hand down onto the ground. Second side, lifting the arm up. Exhale, sliding the arm through. Finding the breath here, shoulders away from the ears. All right. Find your breath. Femur bones move back. And as you're ready, inhale and lift that arm all the way up to the sky. Place your hands down, dog pose. Lengthen through your spine again. Spread out the bones of your feet. Lift your heart toward the pelvis. Find your breath. Left leg lifting, or right leg lifting up in the air. Sorry, right leg. And then bring that foot through. Come to a lunge. Back into Virabhadrasana 1 again. But this time have blocks close by, up at the front of your mat. Make sure you have blocks near you. Find your breath. Reach the arms up. Lengthen through your spine. We're going to interlace your hands behind your back. Open the chest. Bring the shoulder blades toward each other. Try not to let the floating ribs pop out. Integrate them. And exhale and come into humble warrior. Release your head down. Arms get to come wherever you want them to come.
Lengthen through your spine, stay in your lunge. All right, and then we're gonna reach all the way back up. Place the hands down onto the ground, come into half splits. Blocks are so nice. Stretch that leg back in the air, extend through the spine. Find your breath here. As you exhale, tuck your knee behind your knee. Squat in, curl in, one-legged pose. Inhale, reach that leg behind you, lengthen your spine. Exhale, Jiva squat. Tuck knee behind knee. Tuck your chin in. One more time. Inhale, bringing it out. Exhale, bringing it in. Find the breath. Now see what it might feel like to take some weight off your blocks. Maybe the hands can come together. Maybe your one hand can come off. Just see what you're finding. And then reach back into half splits again. Place your foot down next to your other foot. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and step your opposite foot back. Come into a lunge on this side. Finding your breath here. Plant the back heel down. Virabhadrasana, one legs. Arms can go where arms want to go. Stay grounded through your back foot, extending through your spine. And we're going to reach back, interlace your hands the opposite way. Open the chest, and then come forward inside edge of your knee with your torso, and lift your arms away from the spine. So for you, that might mean just 1 inch away from the spine, or maybe your arms, go feet away from your spine. Just everybody's different with their shoulder range of motion. So find where you're finding. Find the midline. Hug your inner thighs toward the midline. Extend the spine. Stay rooted in your feet. Bow your head. And then come back up. Unwind the arms. Reach them to the sky. Place the hands down onto the ground or blocks and hop up onto that foot, coming into, I'm just going to do it with the other leg again. So I know you're on your left foot. Okay. Extend, reach your right leg straight back behind you. Find your breath. And then exhale and tuck in. Squat in, knee behind knee. Tuck the chin toward your chest. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, bring it in. Feel your core. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw in. All right, hang out here. Maybe your hands can come up off the floor. Maybe they just lighten off the block. You can do whatever you want. Find the breath. Engage through your core. The hip flexors are working hard. Heads of the arm bones are lifting away from the ground. Crown and tail are long. Breathing. Hands on, back onto the block. Extend into half splits again. Go ahead and place your back foot down onto the ground, hands onto the floor. Inhale, lift that left leg up, your right leg up in, I think I had the wrong leg just because I'm on the opposite side. So left leg up in the air and place your foot down onto the ground. Come down into child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels and rest. Finding your breathing. Come up, come back to dog pose. Let's lift the right leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through to a lunge. This time come to crescent lunge. Back foot is turned in. Lengthen through the spine. And we're going to exhale and come forward again one more time, hopping up onto that one leg for Virabhadrasana 3. Feel the heads and the arm bones release. I know your hip is probably getting fatigued and tired. Look how high I am. So you do not have to go low into a right angle. You can be much more upright if that feels better for your body. And then a big giant step back. Come back into dog pose. Finding the breath. Inhale, lift your left leg up in the air. Exhale, swing that foot through. Come into crescent lunge on this side. Extend through the spine.
Find your breath. I think it's much easier to do Virabhadrasana 3 with your arms down, but if you want to do it with your arms up, go for it. So you do you, find where you are. We're going to come up. I'm going to hold on to a piece of furniture. Balance can sometimes be helpful. Find your way into the posture. Extend the spine. Breathe deeply. Spread out your feet, crown to foot in the air. Engage through your core to stabilize you. There's so much working in your hips right now and your glutes. Find the heads and the arm bones lifting away from the ground. All right, great. And then go ahead and take a step back. And then go ahead and come on up and walk your back foot forward. So the next posture we're going to do is I find it to be the most challenging of all the standing poses. Nothing like that to make you want to do it, right? But be very mindful of how you go about this. Revolved Ardha Chandrasana is not an easy pose. So we're going to start in half splits. Okay, so stand on your right foot, and we're going to lift up our left leg, half splits. Engage through your glutes. Extend through your spine. You're on your right foot. We're going to keep weighted on our left hand and bring your right hand onto your right hip. Keep extending that leg in the air. Try not to lose the hamstring engagement in that leg in the air. Start turning to the side, and you might just peek. You might just be a little teeny turn to the right. Okay, so it doesn't have to be this big, huge pose. You can keep your hand on your hip. You can lift the arm in the air. Try not to let your leg behind you fall. Lift that leg, stable, moving from your core, moving from your breath. The obliques twist you. Long spine. And then exhale, bring your hand back down onto the block, 2 feet down onto the ground. Fold in half, bend your knees, sway around, anything that feels good. Inhale for a halfway lift. Notice how nice symmetry feels after the cross hemisphere work in the body. Rise up, push off your feet, lifting the arms to the sky. Trace down through the midline. Pause here for a moment, either with your hands at your heart or your hands at your sides. Enjoy your 2 feet on the ground. Enjoy the sense of stability, the ease of just standing. Are your knees soft? Can you feel the weight move into the feet? How is your breathing? Has tension crept somewhere? All right, inhale, reach the arms up again. Exhale and fold in half. Grab your 2 blocks. This time we're going to stand on our left leg. Our right leg is lifting back behind us, extending through the spine, square hips, finding your breath. We're going to keep our right hand weighted on the block. The left hand comes onto the left hip. Lift that right leg in the air behind you strongly. Keep an eye on that leg. Extend the spine. Start to rotate with the exhales. Use your obliques and only go as far as your body says to go. There's no rush. There's no range of motion necessary. It's just where the breath is taking you. The crown and tail are long. That leg in the air is engaged actively. Finding the breath. Pavrita Ardha Chandrasana, revolved half moon pose. And then release the hand back down onto the ground. Put your foot down next to your other foot. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet, rise up. Arms coming to the sky. Lean back a little bit if it feels good. Exhale and float back down. Step back to a plank. Last time moving through vinyasa, feel the symmetry. Enjoy the symmetry. Hug to your midline. Keep breathing. All right, and then let's go ahead and lower ourselves down to the ground. A symmetrical back bend of your choice. So all limbs can come up. Locust pose can happen. Cobra pose can happen. Whatever is working for your body. Deep breaths in and away. And then melt your head toward the floor. Turn your head to one side.
And let's go ahead and windshield wiper your knees left and right. Feel free to turn your head anytime. All right, let's go ahead. Come up onto all fours. Either just come up to stand, or perhaps you want to do dog pose and then walk your feet forward. So however you get to standing is awesome. Okay, so find your way. Yield one more time. Finding the breath. We're going to stand on our right foot. Okay. Root that right foot down. Inhale, pick up your left knee in line with the hip. Both arms coming to the sky. Twist to the left. Find the midline. Twist with your obliques. Keep the crown long. The thigh bone moving back and the hip in. Only go where your body goes. Don't push past where your range of motion is. Instead, linger and lengthen in the space you have. Breathe fully. All right, and bring those arms back up. Place your foot down onto the ground, and let's find the other side. So weight yourself into that foot. Lift your knee up in the air. Find your breath. Reach the arms, and then let's twist to the right when you're ready. Drop the shoulders, hug to the midline with your inner thighs, plug that knee back into the hip joint. Your standing leg, the hips in, the thigh is back, and the knee is soft. Drop the shoulders, twisting with the breath. The exhales take you there. Feel the spine grow. And then come back, reaching the arms up, widen out into a big old cactus, and then exhale and round in and fold forward. Feel free to wiggle and wag, anything that feels nice. Let's come onto the ground. Rest here. Breathe here. Enjoy the ground. All right, we're going to do some weird movements. This is also good for that cross hemisphere work of the brain, unexpected movement patterns, cross lateral movement patterns. And then, so the three things that really help stimulate the cross work in the brain, the left-right hemisphere work, is literally crossing your arms and legs past the midline, which we did a lot of with twisting. Also using oppositional arm and opposite leg, which we also did a lot of. And the third thing is unexpected movement patterns. So when we come into the bridge poses, listen carefully to what I'm saying, okay? We're gonna inhale, lift both arms up in the air as the hips come high. Let your hands land right over your shoulders. So they're up in the air. They're not over your head, they're up in the air. Okay. This is what I'll call over your shoulders. And then exhale, hips back down. Inhale, lift your hips, arms up to your shoulders. Left arm comes over your head. Right arm stays where it is. Bring it back. Exhale and fold back down. Inhale, come on up. Take your left arm over your shoulder, right arm out to the side. Find your breath, lift that arm up, left arm over your head. Stay in your bridge, both arms come up over your head. Find the breath. Bring your arms over your shoulder, left hand out to the side. Inhale, bring that arm back. Exhale, everything comes down onto the ground. Cross your arms over each other, so one elbow over the other, grab onto your shoulders, finding your breath. We're going to do a eagle pose on the floor. So we're going to cross the right arm over the left arm. Palms can maybe come together. We're going to put our left thigh over our right thigh. So right arm is over left, left leg is over right. Take a deep breath in. We're going to do some sit-ups like this. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck in. Do 5 of them at your own pace. So feel your core engage. Feel your hip flexors. Feel your inner thighs hug against each other. Drop the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows. One more. And then starfish your body on the ground. Everything open. Wide open. Take a deep breath. Exhale, knees to your chest. Chin in. Inhale, get wide again. Now we're going to cross over the other way. Left arm over right arm. Right thigh over left thigh. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, tuck in. Let's do 5. Inhale. And then exhale, tuck in. Find your breath. As you inhale, don't let your low back arch too much. Exhale and draw back in. Squeeze your inner thighs. Squeeze your elbows. One more to go. And then release. Starfish your body open. Arms and legs wide on the ground. Fill yourself up. Empty yourself out. Melt into the floor here. Just have a moment. Letting your body be wide and spacious. Resting on the floor. Go ahead and bring our feet back close in. Bend your knees. Interlace your hand behind your right hamstring. Lift that right leg in the air. Stretch your left leg long on the floor. Find your breath. Extending the spine. Feel free to use a strap if you have one around your foot instead. We're going to cross your right leg. So you can still do this holding the back of your leg. We're going to cross the right leg to the left. Move your right femur bone away from the shoulders. Breathe into the foot. Lengthen through your foot. Reach back into your hip. Either with the hands behind your leg or with the strap around your foot. Come back up. Bend that knee. Put your foot down onto the ground. Reach behind and grab your left hamstring. You can either have your right foot on the floor or your right leg on the floor. You decide. Root the hip down. You can be using a strap across your foot or hands interlaced across your hamstring. Finding the breath. So whichever variation you're choosing. Extending the spine. Breathing here. And then we're going to cross the leg past the midline. Left leg goes right. Stretch through the big toe and the inner heel. Root into the hip. Pull the hip away from the shoulder. Stay connected to your breathing. And then come on up. If you're using the strap, take it away. Put your right foot on top of your left knee for a reverse pigeon pose and just rock a little bit if you feel inclined. Be very still if you feel inclined. Are you working with turning your practice into your very own, and not only your very own, but your very own for this moment, which is different than how you felt yesterday, which is different than how you will feel tomorrow. All right, let's unwind the legs, change sides. Okay, so we're going to put your left foot on top of your right knee. Reach underneath you, grab your ankle. Finding the breath. Feel free to move. Feel free to be still. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're breathing well. Long inhales and exhales. And let's go ahead and release. Bring your knees to your chest for a moment, rock. And just see what you need. Do you want a simple twist? Do you want a happy baby pose? Do you want to stretch out your limbs? What is it that your body's calling for to complete your practice before we move into Shavasana? So as you find your way, there's no rush, but as you find your way into Shavasana, first just take a moment to spread your limbs away from your midline for a moment. Just take a wide posture on the floor. Allow your limbs to spread. Allow your breath to spread all the way to your limbs. Just take up a lot of room. Melt into the earth below you. And then you can move your limbs if you want, or if you're happy like this, you can stay here. Settle into whatever is comfortable for your body for Shavasana. Melting. Breathing. Enjoy the symmetry in your body. Allow the breath to travel to all of your limbs evenly. The spine and belly are resting. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Take a full big inhale. Broaden out your ribs. Stretch into your limbs with your breath. And then let your exhale melt you. Befriend the earth again.
Slowly start to invite movement in as you transition from Shavasana. Take your time. Okay, so maybe start with some rubbing of your thumbs across your fingertips or turning your head from side to side. Maybe rolling your ankles or wiggling your toes. Opening and closing your palms. Eventually find bigger movement. Come onto your side when you're ready. There's no rush. As you are ready to sit up, go ahead and do that. And just like many other things about your own practice at your house, you can do Shavasana a lot longer. Usually we do just the opposite, right? We neglect our Shavasana, but if you feel the need to stay longer, stay. All right, so palms together at your heart and offer this balanced energy that you've cultivated. Breathe into both nostrils, feel it swirl. Breathe out your love and care toward another. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.